can you apply for a J1 when your ECFMG certificate is still processing?
Speaking of this J1,
all right, we're still talking with Dr. Onwuzurumba. What do your patients call you?
Oh man, Dr. Jeremiah, and then they'll see my name, Doctor. I'll be like, it's okay.
Yeah, and like maybe Dr. O would work for me.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah.
Force every state.
Or force
them I'll force them to say it. Especially if I have residents.
So we talked about visa appointments. Do you have any like tips, tricks, or because some people get scared that they'll get denied the visa, and I've not personally not heard of anyone who had a residency contract getting denied a J1. But what are some tips that you say helped you with your visa appointment?
Okay, so the actual interview itself, because you're able to. So in Nigeria, it's public. It's almost public information because you're in a room and you're next to other people applying for tourism visas, for student visas, and so all around you, you're just hearing more often than none rejections.
Oh, okay.
So it's not your turn. You have 20 people ahead of you, and you're just hearing them getting rejected over little things like them not knowing the address. Of course, we know where we're going. Like you said, I don't know anyone that has been rejected, but that would be crazy. But either way, I feel like we have where we're going. Like we have the contract, we have the DS2019. So all we need to do is just say who you are. Like just actually say, yes, this is me. This is where I'm going, and it works out. That's for the day itself, But definitely beforehand, going like an hour early is safe.
Yeah. But I think go confidently. You're not a fraud. You're not trying to go do something weird. So you will be fine. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. We're praying for you.
I think another thing that these guys are also concerned about, and thankfully we've passed that, is they just want to be sure that you're able to finance yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're not going there to live off of the government. They don't want, they already have enough people they are taking care of this country. So they just want to know that you are loaded, you have enough funds to take care of yourself. Exactly. You need to be. It's residency money, but hey, that's something.
So when you get the visa, you get the J1 and it's stamped. Is it stamped in your passport or is it like a document you have to carry?
So for us in Nigeria, we actually get one page. So it's like a page, you'll put it, it's like a stamp, we'll have a picture. And so it's a physical thing that we can take with us.
So it's not. So it's in your passport, but then you get a document as well.
Oh no, just the passport.
Okay, and then you travel with that because I'm trying to figure out. So how do you travel? You mentioned the stamp and then the DS2019.
2019, yes. You always have to have those two things: your passport and the DS2019.
Okay, that sounds doable. So you just have a folder for traveling, I'm sure, at this point in time, and you just have everything there.
Speaking of this J1, unfortunately, this is like the worst visa ever because it does not end. You have to keep applying for the J1. It's for a year. So every year your contract is renewed and you need that information. You send it to the ECFMG and then the ECFMG would actually now, they actually renew it or they recertify you kind of. And so it's like $370. So you have to set that aside every year to recertify yourself.
It's a 1-year visa.
Yes, it's a 1-year visa. Yes. And then the contracts too. It's crazy. So if you're in a program and they say you're there for 4 years or 3 years, you're actually there per contract. So each year they're actually saying okay, should we keep this person? So you're working per contract, even though it's like, oh, you're there for 3 years or 4 years. But most of the time they do keep you. But that's just something that I realized. So the yearly contracts, the yearly recertifications by ECFMG, you
Yeah.
get a new DS2019, you get a new J1 visa.
So do you pay for your ECFMG certification again? Because it was 900.
You don't pay 900. Now it's just 370 per year.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, at
So
least
you're
this
paying for
is
the certification, you're not paying for the J1. Or you're paying for both?
J1, you would have to pay for that, like how you pay for a visa. Yeah. Yep. So you have to pay the 160, the dreaded $160. That's the yeah,
Yeah.
per year. So you always have to budget like $500 every year for just renewing your documentation.
I mean, we should be saving up anyways, so
We should. Another thing that is also important is with the J1 visas, I don't want anyone to feel like they are trapped in whatever program they're in or specialty they're in. You can always reapply. You can get on the match, reapply for a different specialty. I think they give you the first 2 years, you can switch between specialties, you can switch between programs. So you are not locked for life.
program.
If you have to, if you want to, you can be going to work, but if you want to change to a different location, you can also work on that. If you want to go and join the ERAS again, you can do that. The J1, the ECFMG lets you do that. But then after 2 years, you cannot switch. You can't make that change. Yeah.
Wow, that's good information to know. Money is still hurting me, but thank you for telling us now. Because it'd be a surprise when you're like, oh wait, what? You said what?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you can't get out of the J1. Someone has said that they can, but you can't. You have to finish your J1. Even if you get married and you become a resident, because you did that statement of need, you're locked in for the entire program. You have to finish that. You have to do the
waiver.
So it's either you go back to your home country or you apply for the waiver. But all these things have to be done before you can change your status.
One thing that a doctor during one of my interviews, she was like, this was like Buffalo, New York, which is right on the border of Canada. And so for her waiver, she went back to her home country. So she was living in Canada and working in the US. She was like driving 45 minutes back and forth. I was like, that's a lot, but it's only for 2 years. So for those who like live in Mexico or Canada, that's an option, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's interesting. So you just have to be physically back in your home country. Oh, okay. So yeah, it only works in those two situations, but that's good.
Because you can't be flying every day.
Yeah. Nope, you cannot.
My last question, let's say my last question was really, can you apply for J1 when your ECFMG certificate is still processing? That's not possible, right? From what you said.
Not, yeah. Because the DS2019 has a number on there, and it's like the final step. It's so painful. It's the final step of the J1 right before you are able to pick a date. Okay. It's the final step where you have to put that number.
Oh, so you can't preemptively like set a date for visa.
Cannot.
Hence the need for like emergency visa spots if you do need it.
Yes.
I feel like that's okay. That's a bit clearer now. Thank you for clarifying. Is there anything you wish that you knew during this whole process that you would tell somebody, apart from all the wonderful things you've told us already, that you would just tell somebody, hey, do this, do that, do that? Yeah. You can think of any, because I know you said so much.
I have. One thing that I wish I knew was just where I was going to be, like where I was going to live. Before
your apartment?
Here, yes. I didn't have that set up, but I feel that's the main thing that you're actually still kind of able to control. As far as the certificate, you're really not able to control that. The only thing I mean, at that point, it'll make you want to wish, oh man, I wish I finished earlier. And that will just it will make you feel bad, and it can actually just, cause you to feel worse about the decisions you've made up until that point. So I don't advise that. I just feel like if that's where you are, if you finished in May, you finished in May. Just work with that. But something you can't control is your accommodation, because it's going to be stressful wherever you are trying to get this visa, and you don't want to come to the States not really having anywhere to stay. So if you're able to do that, then I think it helps a lot. It just makes it feel like, after all this stress, you can at least go somewhere and just rest.
Yeah. Okay. So very unrelated to the ECFMG process and J1 process, but like, what are your tips for getting apartments as a non-US IMG? You don't have you've never been to the US before, let's say. You have been to the US before, but I'm just saying, like, what are some tips that you would say helped you with your apartment process to get an apartment?
Okay, so one thing that I like to do was try to know where, my co-residents were living.
Yeah.
Try to have an idea of the kind of places they were living in, because that also said a lot. So that's one thing I would always do. Try to ask around and see what people were doing. What if people were, staying in houses where it's like a landlord that just gives out their house, or if they were actually staying in apartment complexes, the big ones with lots of floors. And so you have those options, especially when you're in the bigger cities. And then I would ask my coordinator, my residency coordinator, because usually, or most of the time, they've seen lots of residents come and go. So I feel like they know way more than the actual residents that have been in those programs. So program coordinators, those people are key. Honestly, sometimes they're like the rock. They keep the program director afloat.
Yeah.
They keep the residents afloat too, because they're just on top of things a lot. So if you have a program coordinator that you can talk to, try to get in touch with them ASAP. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I know the licensing thing, it differs from state to state, but there's a part of the licensing that needs to be filled out by SGU. Do you remember that part?
I'm not done.
Okay, you're not done yet. So there's a part that you will fill, but then there's a part that you actually need to send to SGU.
Why?
Or it's either you send it or the program sends it.
Okay.
To SGU, and it's one of these coordinators that would complete it. Then they send it to the program. You don't have to send it.
Last one. Any advice for first year residents? For intern year, because it's really, really tough. And you're almost at the end. So clearly you've done something right. So please.
Oh, yes. Ooh, all the right things I did. Okay. All right. So I think the best one is just be. So it's hard, right? Because I'm international, I'm Black. So when I talk to my seniors or my attendings, a lot of times I always want to feel like they're making things personal, when they're correcting me or trying to, critique whatever I'm doing. But a lot of times there's always something that you can take out of these criticisms and the corrections, no matter how I call it, disheartening they may sound. So I would always say, as much as possible, try to pick out the things from what they say that you can actually do to make yourself better, because there's always room for us to become better people, to become better doctors. So this is the chance where people are actually going to call you out on the things that you do. So this is the opportunity to, focus on those things and try to improve wherever you can. Because the older you get, the less people are going to say to your face. So for now, just take it. As an intern, as much as you can, just be strong. If you're not strong, go home, do what you can, cry, talk to your significant other. Don't hold it all to yourself because it would just like tear you up and it will eat you up. So that's my biggest advice. Take what you can from
talk to your significant other.
Yes.
So for those who don't have significant others, what do you say?
Netflix, if that's your significant other, your parents, your siblings, find something else or someone else.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to do this by yourself. You do not want to. Yeah. I wouldn't advise it. Not intern year.
Find a community and people you can relate to on that level. How many residents are you guys in your program?
So there's 8 of us as interns, but then when you go into your first anesthesia year, which is PGY2/CA1, there's 9. They take 9. So they will add someone else. So there's a person that applied the same time we applied for an advanced position.
Okay.
So while we were applying for the categorical position, they were advanced for a second year position. So they had gotten their spots already. So they will join us
next
this summer.
Year. Yeah. Well, it's no longer next year, it's this summer at this point in time. Yeah. Time really flying. So your first year, what do you do then?
First year for this, the way they set it up, which I love it. Some people are different, but like it's 1 month in different programs. It's not 2 months, just 1 month. You go, you finish up. Unfortunately, like it takes you 2.5 weeks. It takes me like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to actually know what I'm doing. I'll be in the ED. I won't know what's going on. I won't know how things work. By the 3rd week, I'm understanding, and then 4th week,
you're done.
I'm done, and then I have to go to ICU, medical ICU for 1 week. I won't know what's happening. By 4th week, I'm getting a hang of it. I'll move to medicine floor, the floors, and then I'm there for a month. So that's what we're doing. And then there's like in total 3 months of anesthesia out of the 12 months.
That's really cool. So you get to you understand, you kind of have a big picture of medicine almost before you go fully into anesthesia.
Yeah. And I actually love this, that I want to do different things. When I get the chance to do electives, I actually want to go back to like the ICU or the ED and just pick up some things there so I don't forget.
On that note, thank you once again, Dr. Jeremiah, for being here and giving us all this information. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, right? And then you should subscribe as well. And make sure you leave a comment below if you have any questions. I will leave Dr. Jeremiah's Instagram and mine, so you can always reach out to us if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thank you, guys.